If you have the Sony FES Watch U, you don't need to worry about this video. This one only applies to the FES watch, the FES WM1S. This is the watch that has no sapphire glass and no outer stainless steel ring. As you can see right here, it is just a straight up e-paper display that is all curved. This is the one that has no charging dock. So you might be asking, how do I replace the battery? Well, it just requires you to open the back up and physically replace the battery. You cannot charge, even though they are running lithium-ion batteries. Technically, they're replaceable batteries. So you need to get yourself a CR2016, not a 2032, which is the most common, or a 2026. It needs to be a 2016. You also need a T5 or a torx number 5. Very rarely will you find an individual torx screwdriver that is number 5. A lot of 4s, a lot of 10s. So you need to get yourself a torx set. What torx is a six-sided kind of square looking thing. It'll look like this, and you need the T5 number, and this is the 5th size, so you go ahead and grab that out. It usually requires you to buy a complete set. We ourselves have found several, like we said, 4s and 10s elsewhere, but not specifically the 5, so be aware that you're going to need that. So compile your stuff. It's really simple. You just, give yourself a little bit of length there to get some leverage. Go like that. Now, what you want to do is unscrew all 4 of these screws right here. Once you've done that, you have to take the back off like so. There is no waterproofing on the back. There is some light waterproofing rubber around the sides here, as you can see right there. And then you have a bunch of other stuff that you do not want to touch. You don't want to touch PCBs, which are printed circuit boards, if you don't have to. The components are very small. You just don't want to bother with any of that. To prevent yourself from shorting anything, which you probably won't, don't use a metal screwdriver to get it out. Use something rigid and plastic, so something like, a little plastic pry bar or something. Now, you do have to lift up the PCB a little bit in order to push the battery out, and it will take some work because it's not a very good design. This thing is, it's very hard to work on. You can see we're getting it out. Now, you don't want to tilt this too much. If you bend this too much, you're actually going to be bending some of the components. It is connected with a couple flat cables, so just take your time with it. There's no need to rush. Recycle your battery properly, the one you took out, and get your new battery and slide it in. Now, the positive is at the top, as you can see the plus right there, and the plus on the housing itself. So just tilt it back ever so slightly and put your battery in like so. Make sure, very important, that you push down on the PCB so that the button is going to actually interact with the button on the PCB switch right here. So you want to make sure that's all lined up, all these little components there. This is as easy as it gets, so don't get too overwhelmed. And then you just want to put this back on upwards, so like that. However, before you put in the actual screws, make sure it does work first. So you can see it does turn on. You can tap it, it'll change, so you know that you did it, because putting it all back together and tightening it all up before you know it works, it's a good time to troubleshoot now. And that's it, your watch is back up and running. Now, these batteries are button cell batteries. They are very small, but they're usually in things that don't require a whole lot of battery to begin with, so they last a long time. In fact, we've been using this pretty much constantly, and we've never turned it off, because you can't, for about half a year, and we've never had to swap out the actual battery. So until now, which is good time for this video. 2016 battery, CR 2016 battery. They're only like $1 at a Daiso or a dollar store. They're not very expensive. You don't need to go and buy, you know, $9 battery at London Drugs. Anyone will do just fine. So I hope you guys had some good experiences with this, and if you have any other questions, let us know down below.